Welcome back to Talk Travel with Samantha. We're here to help you travel smarter and vacation harder and discover incredible places around the world. I'm Samantha from Fabulous Adventures Travel, and today we're talking about one of the hottest trends in travel that most people aren't even considering: expedition travel. Now, before you picture yourself freezing in Antarctica while wrestling a penguin, that's not expedition travel anymore. Today's expedition cruises are floating luxury hotels with naturalists, scientists, photographers, historians, zodiac boats, and experiences that completely change how you see the world. It's one of the fastest growing segments in travel, and after today's show, you might find yourself adding Antarctica or even the Arctic to your bucket list. So let's dive in. For years, travel was about checking boxes, right? See Paris, visit Rome, go to Disney, all the things. I always say that you should go to all those places and check the box, right? We're even discussing going to Rome ourselves in, next year to check some boxes. But honestly, that's it for me. I'm in and out, gone, done, end of story. I'm moving on to the things that are very authentic Italy. Obviously, you're going to say to me, Samantha, the Colosseum is very authentic Italy. Yeah, if you want a lot of people, it's very authentic Italy. I don't want a lot of people. I'm good with no people. I'm good with less people and enjoying the culture. So social media changed everything, right? People realized they just didn't want pictures anymore. They didn't just want to have a picture of something. They wanted stories. They wanted experiences. They wanted to come home saying, I watched a whale surface 5 feet from my Zodiac and I nearly died. Those are good stories. The I nearly died stories are always good stories. They're always the best stories. And honestly, I love to add the I nearly died when I was nowhere close to dying. So that's always fun, right? I stood among thousands of penguins. Who doesn't want to say I hung out with penguins and it smelled like you know what, but it was the greatest moment of my life. I saw a polar bear in the wild. I totally want to see. I want to see okay, you're going to laugh. Have you ever ridden Soarin' in Epcot where the polar bear and the baby are hanging on the glacier? I want to see that. I think it's a glacier that they're hanging out to. I want to see that in real life. I want to be like, oh my God, how'd they get there? Which I know how they got there, of course, but I want to see that in real life. I want to see the polar bear chilling on the glacier. People want to say I snorkeled with sea lions. That's expedition travel. Everything that I just said is expedition travel. The only thing that I'm missing is that polar plunge. Have you ever heard of it? Because you could totally do it. I am dying to do some expedition travel. Later this month, actually, on Talk Travel with Samantha, we are going to talk to a couple different cruise lines that actually specialize in expedition travel. I'm really excited about it because I want you to hear from their side what they offer, what is available to you, and make your best choice. There's not a lot of companies out there that do expedition travel. So it's not super hard to research and it's not super hard to figure out which one best fits your needs, right? There is a slight range in pricing, but honestly, the pricing's pretty similar across the board. So know that it's not about luxury versus adventure. It's about combining both. You're not just visiting somewhere, you're learning about it. So that's the cool part. You're not just in Alaska. Don't get me wrong. Everybody loves the Alaskan experience. It's freaking phenomenal when you go on those big cruise ships, right? You're sitting on your balcony. You see the orca, you see the whale, you see the dolphin, you see whatever it may be, right? Floating on by as you float on by. And you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. But this is getting in deep. And this is actually learning from the experts that are talking to you about it. And they're explaining why penguins do what they do. They're explaining why they mate for life, why the polar bears sit on the glaciers waiting for food. They explain all of that. Most expedition ships carry about between 1 to 250 passengers instead of 4,000, which is why I was explaining why it's a different experience when you go to Alaska, because it's not the same thing, right? Those ships are huge. These are smaller ships. That means you get more personal service, smaller groups, less waiting, and access to places that big ships cannot reach. And also, I'm going to be honest, there's a big push that no big ships can go in there because, of course, it harms the area, right? It harms the natural land and whatnot. So the smaller the ship, the better. And that's why they're smaller like that. And plus, let's be honest, there's not a ton of people that are doing it right now, except for the fact that it really is the biggest trend in travel right now. I'm dying to go to Antarctica, dying. It is on my list, but there's just so much going on in my life right now, and it's not an easy trip. So know that. It's not just like, hey, let's go over to Tampa. It's definitely not that. So it's quite a haul, but it's worth it, obviously, because it's so far away. Anyway, expedition doesn't mean roughing it, right? So this surprises almost everyone. Many expedition ships have luxury suites. They have fine dining, wine pairings, spas, heated bathroom floors, infinity lounges, observation decks. Some even have helicopters, submarines, kayaks, photography workshops. It's luxury with a purpose. So when I mentioned to you that it's not cheap, it's not cheap, okay? But well worth it. Well worth the price. We'll get to that in a minute. So why is expedition travel suddenly so popular, right? First and foremost, we did talk about the fact that, of course, Instagram is just blowing the crap out of it right now. And of course, other people that are doing it. People that are starting to really realize, this is something new and different that no one else has ever done. So everyone's out there doing it. So travel changed after the pandemic, right? People began asking themselves, if I'm going halfway around the world, I want it to mean something. I've been saying that for years. I'm glad everyone just finally got on the bandwagon. I don't want to just go somewhere, like I said, and check boxes. I've mentioned this before. I want to go off the beaten path. I want to find all the cool places. I want to eat with the nonas in Italy. I want to eat with the traditional German people in their outfits, which don't exist anymore, let's be honest. But I don't even care. I want to eat with a German grandma too, as well. I don't remember what they're called, to be honest. But instead of taking 5 average vacations, many travelers are choosing one unforgettable trip. They're investing in experiences. That's exactly what expedition cruising offers, right? So there's expedition travel and obviously there's expedition cruising. We're kind of more discussing here about expedition cruising more than anything. Expedition travel would probably be like a safari, right? So another reason people are doing this, people are traveling younger. Thank God, man. Get out. Go see the world. Like, do not wait until you're retired, because by then you might not be able to climb up the mountain that you were just extremely excited about climbing up, right? So people are traveling younger. Expedition cruising used to attract retirees, which I find interesting yet not, because a lot of people think that cruising is for old people, which I find hilarious. It's not at all in any way, shape, or form anymore. Let me show you why. Not today. We won't talk about it today. But anyways, today we're seeing honeymooners. We're seeing families that are doing this. We're seeing professionals in their 40s, 50s, adventure seekers, wildlife photographers, even multi-generational families. Grandparents love the educational aspect of it. Parents love unplugging. Kids love the wildlife, and everyone wins, right? So it's also easier than ever, of course, right? Everything is so much easier now than it was back in the day, way back in the day, and even yesterday. Let's be honest, it's always easier. Years ago, expedition travel felt intimidating. Not to mention, I said it earlier, not a lot of people did it, but there's a lot of cruise lines jumping on the bandwagon, and brand new ones where you can find some really good deals. So today, everything is taken care of. Your flights, your hotels, your transfers, your gear, your expert guides, even the giant waterproof boots are often provided. The whole outfit, which is always, just lovely to put on, is provided. You simply just show up and explore and follow the program. That's all you have to do, which is always nice, right? We're going to take a moment for a sponsor break, which of course is Fabulous Adventures Travel. So here we go. You're listening to Talk Travel with Samantha, and today's show is brought to you by Fabulous Adventures Travel. Whether you're dreaming of Antarctica, Alaska, the Galápagos, a lot of people forget about that, Africa, or your next luxury cruise, our team specializes in creating unforgettable vacations customized just for you. Visit fabulousadventurestravel.com and let us handle every detail, so all you have to do is enjoy the journey. And by the way, we're free. We don't cost you anything. It's the same exact price as booking direct. So contact us. What are you waiting for? Now let's get back to adventure. So let's talk about the world's best expedition destinations. So there's a lot out there that people can go and visit when we're talking about cruising, right? And land, of course, right? But the cool part is, in my favorite place that I'm super excited to go to, I have it on my list. It is ready to go, but it's just finding the time and getting there, is Antarctica. Oh, I'm dying to go there. This is a bucket list destination. I have to be honest. I got to come up with a new phrase. I got to like chat GPT or someone write in and tell me I don't like bucket list. I think it's old. It's 90s. It's done. It's played out. I don't even like it. It sounds, honestly, I think I've said this a bazillion times. It sounds like dun, 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 the end. It's like, why do we have to talk about the end? Let's call it something else. Anyways, this is a dream destination. Let's go with that. This is a dream People think they'll see ice. Well, of course you're going to see ice, right? There is lots of ice in Antarctica. But what they don't expect is how emotional it becomes. Imagine standing in complete silence and all you hear are thousands of penguins. You hear the massive glaciers moving, icebergs the size of buildings, whales surfacing beside your zodiac. No crowds, no buildings, just nature. You don't simply visit Antarctica, you experience it. So now a lot of people don't know this about Antarctica, but I have a funny thing that I've been bothering my best friend about. So I have a travel partner, Kelly, that always travels with me. She literally is like, if I say, Kelly, she's like, oh crap, how much is it? All I have to say is, Kelly, would you? And that's all I have to say. And she's like, how much is this going to cost me? It's been a long-standing joke with us for years that I was like, I used to send her a text message and be like, okay, I have an idea. And she would literally write back and go, how much is this going to cost me? And I'd be like, hold on, just hear me out. So I have this travel partner, Kelly, obviously my best friend, one of my best friends. And I've been saying to her forever, we want to go to Antarctica. She's on board. But the thing that's scaring the ever-loving crap out of her is the Drake's Passage. Okay, so she is panicked about the Drake's Passage. So whenever we go on a rough cruise, because on all the cruises, we've been on over 100 cruises or more, you know, you're bound to hit tons of weather at some point. And every time the cruise ship is rough and we're just rocking and rolling, I'm like, this is your preparation for the Drake's Passage. Get in there, grit it out and enjoy it, because this is what we have to do to see all the things. So if you've never heard of the Drake's Passage, I do want to make a mention to point it out, because not to scare you, but to prepare you so you understand what you're getting yourself into. Going to Antarctica, you do have to cross the Drake's Passage, and it can be either what they call the Drake Shake or the Drake Lake. So you clearly want the Drake Lake and not the Drake Shake. So if you just even do some sort of search on Drake's Passage, Drake Shake, any of that, you will definitely find the scariest videos you've ever seen. Now, I will tell you that everyone does this. It's not something that, it was a one-off and they ran into a storm. Everyone has to pass through the Drake Shake or Drake Lake, Drake's Passage. And some days you're lucky and some days you're not. So majority of the time I have heard that people will get the Drake Shake one way and the Drake Lake back, or one way, vice versa, whatever it may be. Obviously, that way you can, again, live to tell about it and say, I nearly died. You can tell it I nearly died story, which is always fun, like I said. But know that that is what is scaring my BFF from going on Antarctica. But I will tell you that she really is, even because of the Drake Shake or Drake Lake, she is in it to win it and she's excited. Now, there have been new advancements. I will tell you that there are ways that you can skip. You can chicken out, and I'm going to call it the chicken route, and actually fly into Antarctica and skip the Drake's Passage. But I do feel like it's one of those things where it's a rite of passage and you should just experience it, because you can say you did it. And that 1000% is not like saying, I went to the Colosseum. I promise you, not everyone will have the Drake's Passage story. So know that, do your research on that. And if you really do get motion sickness, please prepare ahead of time. So now the next place you can go is the Arctic, and it's different, obviously, from Antarctica. Hello. It's a completely different location, top and bottom. Anyways, here you're looking at polar bears, walruses, Arctic foxes, massive glaciers, tiny Inuit communities, midnight sun, which I think is so cool. I will tell you that when I did the Iceland cruise, we left from Portsmouth, which is in the London area, and then went all the way up into the Arctic Circle and around into Iceland. The sun never set, which was insane and quite possibly the coolest thing. I will tell you, the sun was gone. It just didn't get dark. So it was definitely interesting that way. It was really, really cool. Obviously, northern lights on select sailings. Make sure that you really look at that timing. If northern lights are your thing, look at the timing of the northern lights, because northern lights have a season. So make sure that you really pay attention to that timing. It's wild. The whole thing is wild, right? So awesome. So Galapagos Islands, that is another option, and people are loving the Galapagos Islands. Now, there's also a, what is the word I'm looking for? Like a law, or, like a, I don't know, let's go with law, that there's not many, ships that can go there. So know that it's very hard to find. There is a season for it. There's not a lot of ships that were allowed to go there. So make sure you really do your research on that. But if you love wildlife, birds, good God, the birds, nothing compares. Sea lions swim around you. Blue-footed boobies perform their dances. Marine iguanas sunbathe on the lava rocks. Giant tortoises wander freely. It's the closest thing to stepping inside a nature documentary, right? Like you're literally inside what you would think like a zoo would be like, I guess, for there. And it's a little bit warmer than Antarctica. A little bit warmer. So the other place, I know I mentioned Alaska. Obviously, you can do Alaska on a big cruise, but you can actually do Alaska as an expedition cruise. And that's going to take you really inside those nooks and crannies, right? It's not going to be your catch a can. It's not, you might still stop there, but it's not just going to be your catch a can and, Sitka and all that stuff. It's going to be in the nooks and crannies, which are going to be freaking amazing, which would be awesome. So if Antarctica seems too far, the Arctic seems too far, you could totally expedition cruise Alaska. Not a lot of people do it because they go for the big ships, right? So you can kayak behind, but you can do all this anyways. You can watch bears, all that stuff. But I'm going to be honest, it's completely different because it'll be a smaller group. It'll be someone that's guiding you, someone that knows all about it, all of that goodness. So Iceland and Greenland are also expedition cruises. So you can do those. These destinations, again, are going to be in the nooks and crannies, right? So Virgin Voyages actually does it. There's a couple cruise lines that do it that are bigger, but I do know that Virgin does it. They have an actually really good one that's leaving in September to Greenland and Iceland. But you can do this expedition and get into those nooks and crannies, which is where you should go because that's what you want to see, right? All of that stuff, the volcanoes, the hot springs, the waterfalls, the puffins, the icebergs. Again, you can get all this on a big cruise, but it's not going to be the same experience that you would get on an expedition cruise on a smaller ship, right? Nooks and crannies. That's what I'm going to keep saying. The Amazon is another one. So instead of oceans, you're exploring rivers, pink dolphins, monkeys, sloths, colorful birds, indigenous communities, all that stuff. That sounds great. So here's one, the Kimberley region of Australia, one of the least visited places on Earth, right? It's waterfalls, ancient Aboriginal rock art, saltwater crocodiles. Ooh, we have alligators here, and I'm not sure, I'm paranoid of the alligators. I'm pretty sure that the crocs, I would just be frozen in fear. I don't know, slap me silly because I'm not moving if I saw a croc. And what's funny? I actually went to Australia years ago, okay? And I was I was young, so just follow me here. I was young and I had decided that I wanted to do I should probably do a whole episode on this. I was young and I decided that I wanted to do a nighttime walk through the rainforest. I think this was when I was dumb. I think I'm just dumb in my 20s. Now I'm, smarter. Laugh out loud. Can you laugh out loud like that? Honestly, I'm kidding when I say that. But I wanted to do this walk through the forest, right? And it was a rainforest. And one of the things that I wanted to see was crocs. And one of the things that they said was they come out more at night because that's when they hunt. So I was like, all right, awesome. Let's go do this walk. Well, in the middle of the walk, I know I've just totally went off subject, but this is a good story. You're going to like it. Stick with me. In the middle of the walk, there was these girls that came on. So I'm no dummy. Listen, when I tell you that I'm a dork and sometimes I have my moments, I'm really no dummy. I dressed up like I was going in the rainforest and nothing was getting on the skin. I had long sleeves on. I had pants on. I had closed-toed shoes. These two girls walked up with their flip-flops, their short skirts, and their tank top. And I was like, girl, did you know what you signed up for? Things are going to be flown from the ceiling. This is a night walk, people. You don't even know what you're walking into. And let me tell you, if it starts crawling on me, it ain't crawling on my skin. Okay. So this is how I was prepared for this walk. But these girls walk up in this, the teeny bopper outfits. And the guide who, straight up looks, like he's from the bush. He's like a bushman. He looks at them like they have 7 heads, like they came out of the forest and he's never seen it before in his life. So anyways, he he kind of gives them an idea and he's like, do you want to at least change your shoes? And they're like, we don't have any other shoes. And they're like, he's like, all right, fine. And he's over it because he doesn't care. Like he just doesn't care. Like he's like, if you're going to be like this and wear this outfit, I don't care. So off we go into the rainforest to find all the things. And I'm telling you, we found all the things, including the crocs. And I know the story was started for crocs, but I'm about to get to the poison dart tree frogs. So he picks up the poison dart tree frog with no glove on, actually, now that I think about it. And he picks it up and he's like, let me explain to you how this works. So he picks up the frog and he's like, when it gets touched on the top of its head or on the back, it shoots out poison from the sides. Well, I hear this and I position myself appropriately, which is behind everybody else, okay? Because I'm like, again, I may be well covered, but I'm certainly not getting anything that's going to burn a hole into my clothes and then into my skin. Well, he does it. So these two girls move closer like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Well, I didn't expect him to pet the back of this freaking frog, right? Like I should have known better since he's from the bushman. He's a bushman and he is nuttier than a fruitcake. I should have known better. So he touches the back of this thing and pew, out goes this poison and it hits the girls in their nothing outfits. And they're like, it got me. And he was like, you'll be fine. And I was like, So I laughed. I feel bad laughing. Oh my God, this is where I should, totally just pray for forgiveness. But I feel bad laughing, but I did. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. I also was paranoid for them. So please know, laughter is always how I handle things that are uncomfortable, is I just laugh. And I didn't even know what to do, but I also love to laugh. So let me just start there. I did not know what to do. And I laughed so hard at this and I felt so bad, but I was also paranoid that it got on me and I was like, oh my God, is it on me? Which I don't even know. But he ignored them and could care less. He basically was like, that's what you get for wearing that outfit. Again, I couldn't tell you what happened to him. I don't know, but anyways, go to Australia. There's my good story about Australia. Had the best time. I will tell you. So who should consider expedition travel? I got to move on. I got to move faster. People often assume that you have to be an athlete. Obviously, that's not true. It's anybody that wants to see that wants to experience this, that wants to have that moment of, holy crap, there's way more to the world than skyscrapers and YouTube, right? So that is the feeling that you get when you feel like you're smaller than you actually are. Smaller? Yeah, smaller than you. Gosh, how do I explain that? Well, anyways, you feel very small at that moment. Like you just are like, wow, wow. Like it's nothing else I've ever experienced. If you want that feeling, that's what you need to do. Is it family friendly? Yes, it's family friendly. It's absolutely family friendly. So take your kiddos. So here's a secret, Samantha's secret spot. It's South Georgia Island. Hardly anyone has heard of it, but if you love wildlife, it may actually be better than the Antarctica itself. Listen, I'll tell you when I get there. But hundreds of thousands of kings of penguins, elephant seals, fur seals. Oh my God, the fur on the seals, man, that is the coolest thing I think I've ever experienced. Historic explorer sites and many Antarctic itineraries include South Georgia, right? So make sure that you do it because it's part of it. Well, not part of it, but you gotta make sure that they have it. So is it worth the splurge? This is what we talked about before. Is it worth the splurge? Absolutely. Expedition travel isn't inexpensive, like I mentioned. It's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be amazing. The memories are going to be phenomenal. You are just going to come back and be like, and tell everyone that you had the best time and you're in awe of the fact that the world still exists in its full-on nature. And yes, the answer is yes. But save your money, save your pennies, or know that this is your trip that year because it's a lot of money. So tourist trap are totally worth it. It's totally worth it, especially Antarctica, right? So book your expedition travel early. This is your travel hack of the week. Book your expedition travel early. The best cabins sell out 1 to 2 years ahead. And because the ships are small, once they're full, they're full. All right. So thank you for joining this week about expedition travel. So travel isn't just about seeing the world anymore. It's about feeling connected to it. This is the feeling that we're all looking for. Expedition travel reminds us just how incredible our planet really is, right? Whether you're dreaming of Antarctica, kayaking beside a glacier in Alaska, snorkeling in the Galápagos, searching for polar bears in the Arctic, these aren't vacations that you'll ever forget. they're the stories that you will be telling for decades from now. If expedition travel has been sitting on your bucket list, I hate that word, your dream list, contact Fabulous Adventures Travel, please. We are here to help you. We know what's out there. We can help you figure out which one best fits you. And we're here to tell you that we're also free. So thank you so much for spending part of your day with me here at Talk Travel with Samantha. I am Samantha with Fabulous Adventures Travel, and I look forward to next week and telling you more about how you can travel harder, vacation smarter. See you next time.